Part 62. My evil Imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 611. After returning to the inn, Lum Wan paid Lingxi directly to cover the small yard where they were, and then set up a series of 6th rank formations around them to hide them. After she returned to the room, she took out several Tier 6 spirit grasses bought at the Underworld Union Chamber of Commerce and refined a bottle of Tier 6 muscle building pills, as well as a lot of Tier 7 medicinal herbs. Refining 7th grade medicinal pills in the Guangling realm cannot be influenced by the laws of heaven and earth to attract pill calamity. Only refining 9th grade medicinal herbs can attract pill thunder, so Lum Wan only distributed a few pills that can isolate the breath of medicinal herbs. The leaked array can be. 2 days later, she came out of the room. Wu Nuan, this is the muscle building pill I made. After you take it, your face may be a little itchy, but don't scratch it. After 3 days, your appearance will be completely restored. Lum Wan put a white porcelain bottle on Wu Nuan. Set in front. Wu Nuan kept rubbing the porcelain bottle with her fingers, with gratitude in her eyes. Mu Yan, thank you. You don't have to be so ostentatious. Lum Wan then took out 2 bottles of medicinal herbs and handed them to her. There are Zisui Dan and Yang Jing Dan in it. Jingdan should be able to attack the Sword Emperor in one fell swoop. Then she told Wu Nuan some precautions for taking Zisui Dan and how to expand the meridians. Okay, Wu Nuan wrote down all of Lum Wan's thoughts. It is useless to talk more, she will slowly repay the other party. Now her strength is very poor, what Lum Wan gives her is what she urgently needs, so she will not be hypocritical. By the way, Wu Nuan, are you interested in alchemy? Lum Wan found out that Wu Nuan's body has 3 attributes of wood, fire, and earth, and it is very pure. It would be a pity to not be an alchemist. Lai Wu Nuan's eyes lit up when he mentioned refining medicinal herbs. Well, my biggest hobby in life is alchemy. All of her alchemy techniques were secretly taught by herself, and the spirit herbs that she used to learn to refine medicine pills were also dug by herself in the deep mountains and risked countless dangers. It is precisely because of this hobby that she perseveres no matter how hard or tired she is, and becomes a 2nd-rank alchemist. Lum Wan saw that Wu Nuan's eyes were full of determination. With a melodious arc on her lips, she handed over a jade slip and a space ring. The jade slip contains some experience and pill recipes from the 2nd and 3rd grade alchemists, and the space ring contains the spirit grass for refining medicinal pills. You can try to break through to the 3rd grade. Seeing Wu Nuan's body startled, Lum Wan smiled and reassured, I'm so poor that only spirit grass is left, so don't worry about losing. Wu Nuan originally wanted to reject the space ring, but suddenly she couldn't help laughing when she heard Lum Wan's words. You can improve your alchemy skills. In the future, we will open an elixir shop and spread the elixir business across the entire human domain. Lum Wan threw a big cake to Wu Nuan. She knows that Wu Nuan is a person who knows how to be grateful. Although she is not hypocritical, she will not only accept her goodness without giving, so if she throws a goal, Wu Nuan will use her resources to improve, thinking of repaying her in the future. She didn't think about using Wu Nuan in the future. She just liked this person's temperament to be good to her, and if she really wanted to form a strength in the future, Wu Nuan would also be someone who could make her worthy of trust. She has mixed into the spirit world and the heavenly spirit continent, and she is also very accurate in seeing people. Okay, in the future, we must expand the business of medicinal pills to the entire human domain. Wu Nuanshui's eyes filled with hope and light, looking forward to the future. Saying this goal might make many people laugh at it, but she always had a feeling that Lum Wan would achieve it. Lum Wan and Wu Nuan went back to their room after talking about some alchemy experience. She took out the array materials and talisman materials stored in the bell, and began refining the 6th and 7th rank array balls and talismans for backup. The refining method of the array ball was given to her by Mingxiu, and there is no such production method and use in the spiritual world array. After Lum Wen refined it once, he discovered the magic of the array ball. It is simple and convenient, and most importantly, its power is not diminished. It's just that refining the array ball requires a deep understanding and control of the opponent, otherwise the life of the array mage will be jeopardized by the explosion. And Shi and Ming corrected all the conditions, and the refined formation balls fused all the formations, and they were very powerful in both attack and defense. Compared with Talisman, Lum Wen actually prefers to use the magic ball, but it is more expensive to use the materials to make the magic ball, so she has made a lot of talismans to help. After all, most of the main materials for refining talismans are the hides and blood essence of high-level monsters. She has a lot of stock in her bell space, and she will be able to find these materials in the future. The next day, when the first ray of morning light hit the room, Lum Wen opened his eyes, took a shower, changed into light clothes, and left the inn. When she arrived outside Qingzhou Mansion, the mercenary group had just arrived. When everyone saw a stunning woman in a red outfit and her long hair tied with only a ribbon, walking lightly, they all felt their eyes lit up. What a dashing beauty! Mrs. Here the handsome young man stepped forward and introduced with a smile, "My name is Buletin Zhan, I'm the head of the Galewind Mercenary Corps. I don't know the lady's surname." Lum Wen spit out 3 words very succinctly. Buletin Zhan's appearance is extremely good. He is handsome with a kind of arrogance, and his strength is not bad. No matter where he goes, he is very popular and popular with women. Seeing that Lum Wen's attitude towards him was lukewarm, even a little alienated, and he didn't deliberately pretend to be aloof and indifferent like some women, he was even more interested. This beauty is really different of. "Miss Lu, since you have joined our mercenary group on a mission, I hope you will not be too individualistic in the days to come, and focus on the overall situation of the mercenary group at critical moments," Buletin Zhan said on his face. The ruffian is put away a little, and he will not lose his principles in the face of right and wrong. "Okay," Lum Wen nodded, "since joining a team, it should be the team's overall interests." This Buletin Zhan looks a bit sloppy, but his eyes are very clear, so it is not offensive. Buletin Zhan was very satisfied with Lum Wen's refreshment. Their pharmacist was seriously injured and withdrew from the mercenary group in the last mission. This time the mission was more dangerous, so he was forced to recruit a 3rd rank or above pharmacist. Since Lum Wen met the dual requirements of the cultivation base and the pharmacist, the only thing he hoped she could do was to cooperate with the team's tasks and not be a hindrance. As for why he hadn't verified Lum Wen's pharmacist level, the most important thing was that he smelled a faint medicinal fragrance on her body at the mercenary union that day, indicating that she had been in contact with spirit herbs all year round. A 4th-grade pharmacist with a sword sect cultivation base doesn't like being questioned by others, and he wants to follow a point. Then let me introduce the members of our mercenary group to you first. My evil Imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world. BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 612. After Lum Wen temporarily joined the Hurricane Mercenary Corps, he should know something about the entire team. Buletin Zhan pointed to the burly man next to him and said, "He is Xianxia, the deputy head of our mercenary regiment." Then he pointed to the 8 people behind and said, "They are Fen Yi, Fen Er, Fen Ba, we are all called by code names. They call me the eldest and Xianxia Laoxian." Lum Wen smiled and greeted several people separately and said, "You can call me Wen in the future, and I will also call you according to the code name of the mercenary group." "Okay," Buletin Zhan and the others nodded with a smile. Originally, looking at Lum Wen didn't feel very close, but everyone didn't expect her to be so easygoing, and their impression of her was a little better. There are 2 women in the 10 members of the Hurricane Mercenary Corps. Feng Wu is dressed in a neutral dress, and his appearance gives people a wild feeling. Feng Qi has a baby face, which is more cute. The 2 could neither like nor dislike Lum Wen, After all, they had never gotten along. They were most afraid that Lum Wen was a beautiful and arrogant woman, but just because of the other party's freshness just now made them feel a lot more at ease. Then let's go. After Bouletin Jean finished speaking, a red light emerged from the spirit beast ring on his wrist, then turned into a fire luen and fell in front of several people. Bingji, who was standing on Lum Wen's shoulder, rolled his eyes. He didn't expect to meet the same kind. The descendants of the Qingluen mythical beast are Bingluen and Huoluen. Of course, the talented Bingluen and Huoluen may also derive other attributes or innate magical powers. For example, the ice halberd also comprehends the wind attribute, and the innate magical power also derives space magic. As soon as Huoluen appeared, the mercenary group jumped up one after another, and Lum Wen also jumped up. This fire luen in Bouletin Jean is an 8th order monster, and its flight speed is much faster than that of ordinary flying instruments. Although Qingzhou Prefecture City is relatively close to Qingyuan Forest, it takes about 10 days for Huoluen to fly. During these 10 days, they basically rested in a nearby town in every 2 days. During this period, Lum Wen discovered that there would be a small town in Qingyuan Forest every other distance, providing food and lodging for the mercenaries, and selling a lot of healing medicines. There are many scattered mercenaries and mercenary groups in and out of Qingyuan Forest, and she also found 2 mercenary groups above the 4th level. According to the jade slip she got from Len Yi, Qingyuan Forest is the birthplace of dragon whisker grass and several other spiritual grasses, and now is the season when these kinds of spiritual grasses are multiplied and picked. In addition to these high-value 6th and 7th level spirit grasses, there are also many 8th level spirit grasses, spirit objects, and spar in the core of Qingyuan Forest. Many monsters are used for refining tools and talismans. Relatively applicable. Therefore, Qingyuan Forest is known as a resource paradise for adventurers and mercenaries. Of course, everything has 2 sides, and the abundance of resources also means a lot of danger. There are many high-level monsters in the forest. Many mercenary groups go deep into the core area. As long as one accidentally gets into the high-level monsters, there is basically only one way to destroy them. 10 days later, a group of people descended on the edge of the deep core of Qingyuan Forest. After the Qingyuan Forest is close to the depths, the 8th order monsters will appear frequently, and there are many flying monsters in groups, so even the strong people in the Danyuan realm dare not ride on the flying monsters. It is definitely a forest. A living target for high-level monsters to attack. Let's go in now, everyone be careful. Bouletin Jean looked at Lum Wen and reminded with a smile, Wen, the depths of Qingyuan Forest are full of dangers, no matter if it's an ant or a plant, you can't take it lightly. Many mercenaries died because of these inconspicuous little things. In hand. Okay, Lum Wen nodded. Bingji pouted and said in Lum Wen's sea of knowledge, Master, he reminds you of such a low-level question, and he looks down on us too much. Lum Wen rolled his eyes in his heart, this is also a good intention, don't think that the 10th order monster is rampant now. I heard that there are holy rank monsters in Qingyuan Forest, and they will torture you at that time, she continued with a blow. That's right, don't be too complacent, you stinky bird, don't let us help you when you get beaten up by a holy monster. Meow meow. Nyanyo's voice sounded. Shwe Shwe followed suit, yes, yes, you can only bully those who are lower than you. After being with Long Yao for a long time, you have become even more stupid, Mo Yan added lazily. The Scarlet Emperor said softly, we can't despise all potential enemies, you can't get carried away with the ice halberd. Lei Huang only thought that a few spirit pets were bickering funny, but he didn't say much, hiding in the bell space and listening quietly. Bingji twitched the corners of his mouth, can he still play well? Why is he the target of a group attack every time? Hey, Mu Yan, your colorful parrot's expression is so rich. Feng Qi has a cute baby face and a lively temperament. She accidentally noticed that the colorful parrot standing on Lum Wen's shoulder was constantly changing expressions, and even felt that he was twitching the corners of his mouth, which made her feel very amused. In fact, when Lum Wen first appeared, the members of the Blast mercenary group were not only attracted to her beautiful appearance, but she also had a small white beast on one shoulder and a colorful parrot on one shoulder. Got their attention. After being together for 10 days, they also discovered that there was a small white snake wrapped around her wrist, which made them feel indescribable that she liked keeping pets. Several of Lum Wen's spiritual pets can freely restrain their breath after entering the 10th rank, so the aura they release is only the 2nd and 3rd rank monsters, giving people or other monsters a harmless feeling. Lum Wen chuckled and said, "There's something wrong with his brain." Bingji looked at the sky speechlessly. Is this really his own master? Do you like keeping pets? Feng Qi continued to ask. In fact, she was very interested in the little white beast lying on Lum Wen's shoulders. The flawless white fur and the fluffy body made people still want to hug. It's a pity that although this Huoyun mink is not high level, it exudes a breath of strangers, so she has been holding back and did not do it. After arriving in the Guangling realm, Mo Yan used a secret technique to completely transform his appearance into a fire cloud sable, so no one recognized that he was actually a spirit-devouring beast. No. All I keep are spiritual pets, Lum Wen replied truthfully with a smile. Others twitched their mouths when they heard her words. Can colorful parrots and second-order little white snakes be considered spiritual pets? The third-order Huoyun mink, although not strong in combat, has a keen sense of smell and can search for spiritual grass and spiritual objects, but it can barely be regarded as a spiritual pet. But it doesn't seem to be of any use to sword masters at the sword sect level. They thought silently in their hearts, Lum Wen's hobby of raising spiritual pets is really strange. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 613. After Buletin Zhan's Huoluan entered the Qingyuan forest, it transformed into a long feathered flamingo standing on his shoulders, and the momentum of the 8th order peak was fully open, making the monsters under the 9th order dare not approach the group. Along the way, as long as he encounters a spirit grass, no matter the level, Mu Yan will dig it up and throw it into a pharmacy that has been moved into the bell space for planting. The pie she painted for Wunuan was not just a talk, but she really planned to spread the elixir business all over the human realm, so she didn't let go of the spirit grass for refining the first-grade elixir. In an ancient book, she had learned to cultivate spiritual grass, let it divide or drop seeds, and a spiritual grass can become a spiritual grass after a period of time. With the ripening function of the ice bracelet, the age of that piece of spirit grass will continue to rise. Wen, you really don't let go of a single spirit grass, Buletin Zhan couldn't help joking when he saw that Lum Wen had dug up even a first-level spirit grass. Looking at Lum Wen, it doesn't look like a master who lacks money. Why do you like to collect spirit grass so much? If they recognized the high-level spirit grass, but the act of digging when she saw the spirit grass was exactly the same as her collecting low-level spirit pets. This kind of hobby really made them not complimented. If it wasn't for the fact that the aura on her body was indeed Jianzhong's cultivation, and the faint medicinal fragrance on her body should have accumulated over the years, otherwise they would really think that she was pretending to be a fourth-grade pharmacist. I am more diligent and thrifty, Lum Wen shrugged and smiled. Hearing her words, the group twitched the corners of their mouths. They don't need to collect first and second level spirit herbs if they are diligent and thrifty. Lum Wen knew what the group was thinking, but she was helpless. If you want to cultivate ramets and collect seeds, you need fresh spiritual grasses to complete. The spiritual grasses sold outside have long lost the possibility of ramets. Otherwise, she would not be so troublesome and go directly to the Nether Union Chamber of Commerce to buy a batch of spiritual grasses. Just fine. And Qingyuan Forest is indeed a resource paradise, and many high and low-level spirit grass can be found. After walking for an afternoon, they encountered several waves of other people. Those who knew each other would say hello, and those who did not know each other were staggered, but they were not in danger. Night fell, a crescent moon was in the sky, the night was slightly cool, and the breeze was blowing slowly. When the group walked to an open area by the river, Bouletinjean said, "Let's rest here tonight. Many monsters are active at night, and it's too dangerous to travel." Okay, the others also agreed. Several people in the mercenary group went to collect dry wood and lit a bonfire, and everyone sat down around the bonfire. However, no one would think of fighting a monster to bake and eat in a leisurely manner. After all, they can fast, and the smell of blood and food will attract monsters to attack. The old bear took out a paper bag and sprinkled some yellow medicinal powder around. Lu Muan knew what it was for by smelling it. "Muan, do you know how to make alchemy?" Feng Qi's temperament is very cheerful, she maintains a fresh sense of everything, so she will chat with Lu Muan from time to time along the way. Lu Muan smiled and nodded, "Well, yes." Feng Qi's eyes lit up, and he continued to ask, "How many alchemy masters are you? You are a 4th-grade pharmacist, have you surpassed pharmacists in alchemy?" Exceeded Lu Muan also liked the little girl Feng Qi. "Wow, you are a 5th-grade alchemist," Feng Qi blinked his eyes and said with a smile, "Mu Yan, you are really amazing. 5th-grade alchemists are nothing in the 4 regions of the Guangling world," Lu Muan said with a smile. According to the information she inquired about, only alchemists of rank 6 or above are highly respected in the mainland. Although rank 5 alchemists are also attracted by many powerful forces, their identities are not so precious. The Guangling world has abundant spiritual energy and abundant resources. There are many high-level people in the 5 arts, and the 5th-level magicians only belong to the middle level. "The 5th-grade alchemist is already very powerful for us," Feng Qi said with starry eyes. Lu Muan could see that she was not being sarcastic. She smiled and took out a bottle of 5-rank Zhenyuan Dan from the space ring and handed it to Feng Qi. "I'll give it to you to eat." The 5th-grade medicine pill was long since eaten by her spiritual pet. The one in her space ring was originally made for the younger generation of the Lu family and the Ling family, but the transmission was too sudden, so it was not given. Feng Qi was stunned for a while, took the porcelain bottle and opened the bottle cap, and a stream of dangxiang overflowed and spread around. She poured it into her hand, and everyone saw that the pills were round and full, and at first glance they were top grade. "Ah! This elixir is like a 5th-grade intermediate elixir." Feng Qi picked up one and took it. After a while, his eyes were bright and he said, "Mu Yan, what kind of elixir is this? After I took it, I felt like the primordial energy in the body is condensing and pure." Seeing this, the others all stared at the medicinal pill in Feng Qi's hands, and the 5th-grade medicinal pill was very useful for those with sword sovereign and sword sect level cultivation. "This is Zhenyuan Dan. After taking it, it can increase the Yuan force in the pure body," Lu Muan explained with a smile. Feng Qi suddenly felt a little embarrassed when he heard her say this. "Mu Yan, your medicinal pill is too expensive. I only take 1 pill. Can I give the rest to other teammates?" "Okay," Lu Muan smiled indifferently. She already had 10 pills in the bottle. If Feng Qi kept all the pills by himself, regardless of the others, she would take a bottle of pills and distribute them, but in the future, Feng Qi will only be friends in general. Fortunately, Feng Qi did not disappoint her. The old bear frowned slightly and said, "Xiao Qi, although Mu Yan is a 5th-grade alchemist, how can you give away all the 5th-grade medicinal herbs so precious? Please return them to Mu Yan. It is impossible to buy 5th-grade intermediate-level medicinal pills in major chambers of commerce or Dan towers. Every time it appears, it is basically used for auction. It is very precious. It must be difficult for Lu Muan to refine it." Although the others were reluctant to part with it, they didn't want to take advantage of Lum Weian in this way, so they asked Feng Qi to return it to Lum Weian. Lum Weian chuckled and said, "It doesn't matter, you all accept it, it's just a few 5th grade medicinal pills." The others were speechless when they heard that she didn't care. They had never let go of the 1st grade spirit herbs before, but the shot was 10 5th grade intermediate grade medicinal herbs, and now they really couldn't understand Lum Weian's thinking. It seems that she is a random person, with a quirky temperament, and she really has such a high-level demeanor. This elixir is very important to us, so we are welcome. If we find the dragon's whisker in the future, it will be yours. The interest in Bouletin Jean's eyes was even stronger. Others also agreed. After all, the value of a 5th grade medicine pill is actually above the dragon beard grass. Okay, when the time comes, I will use the dragon's whisker to refine the medicinal herbs, and I will give you a few. Lum Weian has always been very generous to those who are pleasing to the eye. Everyone present smiled and said, "Then I would like to thank Mu Yan for your kindness." They didn't have much hope for the medicinal pills refined by the dragon's beard grass. After all, as we all know, the dragon's beard grass is the main ingredient for refining the 6th grade medicinal herbs, but they would not sway Lum Weian's good intentions. Several people sat and chatted for a while, and after Bouletin Jean ordered the people who were on duty at night, they all sat cross-legged and rested. When the sky was slightly bright, there was a sudden wave of fighting in the distance, and a few shrill screams resounded nearby. "My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant." Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 614. The shrill screams echoed continuously in the forest. The expressions of several members of the Storm mercenary group changed when they heard this voice. The old bear listened carefully and said with wide eyes, "This seems to be the cry of a member of the Mad Wolf mercenary team." The Crazy Wolf mercenary group, like their Gale Wind mercenary group, is a 4th-level mercenary group, and they often encounter them when doing missions. Although there are occasional conflicts of interest, there is not much conflict between the two teams. On the contrary, they sometimes help each other and establish some friendships. "Let's go take a look," Bouletin Jean said with a frown. If the Mad Wolf mercenary group is in danger, they can't just sit back and ignore it. The others responded one after another. The last time they encountered a crisis in their mission, the Crazy Wolf mercenary group helped them to escape. This time, they couldn't help but die. Lum Weian's eyes were calm and unwavering, and he followed the group of people and quickly swept in that direction. When she first arrived in Tianling continent, although she also went to the mercenary union to accept the task, but she went to the extreme fire mountains with her employer, Yeking Han, and could not understand the real mercenary team at all. Although the time she spent with the Gale mercenary group was not long, she felt the atmosphere of the team and the straightforwardness of the mercenaries. She found that she began to like this team atmosphere gradually. Now that the source of the shrill cry was the Mad Wolf mercenary group known by the Gale Wind mercenary group, they all rushed towards the dangerous place without hesitation, making the plan in her heart stronger. She may be able to form her own mercenary group, a mercenary group that will become a 9th-level mercenary group in the future, a mercenary group that may make the underworld forces fear it. Soon, the group arrived at the source of the cry. I saw that in the dense woods, strips of 5-colored vines continued to extend and entangle, dragging 3 men and a woman in the air, and several people had no resistance at all. Another dozen or so bloody and bone-covered corpses were thrown aside. What? This is the colorful demon vine. When the group arrived here, they saw this tragic situation, and they were even more surprised that the mercenary group was surrounded by the colorful demon vines that made the mercenaries feel the wind. The 5-colored vines wrapped around the group tighter, causing them to make a scream that was close to suffocation. The expressions on the faces of the members of the Blast mercenary group changed, but a layer of light emerged from the bottom of Lum Weian's eyes. Unexpectedly, there are colorful vines in Qingyuan forest. This kind of monster plant is extremely fierce. It likes to devour human flesh and blood, but it hates bones. Usually, it is extremely rare. Therefore, as long as the colorful vines grow, there must be bones of all kinds of humans or monsters. Although the multicolored vines make many people tremble, a kind of colorful spiritual fruit will grow on the rhizomes, which can not only quench the body, but also can be used to refine medicine pills and brew spirit wine. Maybe to others, the colorful vines are a nightmare, but to Lum Weian, it is a shining spirit. The spirit wine brewed from the colorful spirit fruit not only has the effect of quenching the body, purifying the vitality and improving the cultivation, but also has a very sweet and mellow taste. Lum Weian likes that taste very much. She regretted that there were no colorful vines in Tianling continent before, but she didn't expect to encounter it now. Boss, what should I do? Feng Yi looked at the 5 colored vines that had already surrounded them with vigilance and fear, and couldn't help but feel bitter in his heart. Originally, they wanted to save the members of the Mad Wolf mercenary group, but who knew that they would immediately face everything that the Mad Wolf mercenary group had experienced before. Kill. BlackBelly was not afraid in the face of danger, and the arrogant anger naturally subsided, and there was a sense of chill in his body. Immediately, the flaming bird on his shoulder squeaked and turned into a huge flaming bird, opened its mouth, and bursts of crimson flames erupted, burning all the 5 colored vines around it. The other members of the Hurricane Mercenary Corps who possessed fire energy also took action one after another, and groups of flames staggered out. A red-blooded longsword appeared in BlackBelly's hand. He stared at a few people surrounded by 5 colored vines not far away, and slashed in that direction. A beam of red light annihilated the 5 colored vines that bound the members of the Wild Wolf mercenary team. After a few people were rescued, they hurriedly ran towards the direction of the Galewind mercenary team regardless of their injuries. However, everyone underestimated the strength of the colorful demon vine. "You bastards are actually disturbing my sleep, let's all be the fertilizer for this king." A sharp and oppressive voice enveloped the surroundings. Suddenly, the multicolored demon vine burst into a group of multicolored rays of light, and the 5 color vines grew again. Oh my god! This turned out to be a demon plant in the middle stage of the 9th order, Feng Yi exclaimed. Their highest cultivation base is the head of BlackBelly and the head of the Crazy Wolf mercenary group, Zhang Kuang, both of whom are sword sovereigns' peak strength. But if it is against the multicolored demon vines whose strength is comparable to that of the human swordsman and the swordsman in the later period, there is no room for resistance at all. It is very difficult for Yaezai to advance, and the cohesion of strength is stronger than that of human swordsmen, so in the case of relative same level, the strength is capable of being the next level of swordsman. For example, this multicolored demon plant is in the middle stage of the 9th rank, but it can fight against the powerhouses in the later stage of the juggernaut or even the peak cultivation. Boss, what should I do? Feng Wu quickly took out a set of formations and started to set up the formation. A 5th grade primary defense formation was quickly laid out, and a layer of cocky light shrouded everyone in it. The 5 colored vines continued to grow, and immediately covered the entire mask, slapped the mask one by one. Except for Lum Weian, the group's expressions changed drastically, and the 5th grade defensive formation could not last long. "Blackbelly, sorry for dragging you down this time." Mad Jean's body was full of blood holes pierced by vines, and there was a look of despair on his face. Their Crazy Wolf mercenary group was completely destroyed, and now they also affected the Galewind mercenary group that saved them, which made him feel very sorry. Blackbelly patted him on the shoulder with a wry smile and said, "It's okay, brother, the big deal is to die together. 18 years later, he will be a hero again. This road is the only way to the core of Qingyuan forest, and they always have to encounter this colorful monster plant that has been ambushed here for a long time." Zhang Kuang and the others all sighed, facing such a powerful Yaezai, they didn't even have the strength to resist in the face of absolute power. "Kaka, In just a few breaths, the shield of the defensive formation made a few crisp sounds and immediately collapsed. Strips of 5-colored vines stretched out to the people in the formation excitedly, because they were about to become its food. The Huoluan was also whipped by the main cane of the multicolored demon vine and fell next to several people. Just as everyone was shrouded in a shadow of death and desperately waiting for death to come, a clear and melodious female voice sounded. Bingji, it's time for heroes to save beauty. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 615. As soon as Lum Weian's voice fell, everyone saw that the colorful parrot on her shoulder suddenly transformed into a big ice blue bird. A cloud of blue flames spewed out of his mouth, and the 5-color spread that reached them all turned into ashes. The members of the Gale Wind mercenary group and the Mad Wolf mercenary group were somewhat unable to react. They all turned their attention to Lum Weian, seeing her indifferent, holding her hands and looking lazily at the body of the multicolored demon vine not far away. There was an indescribable feeling. They always felt that Lum Weian at this time instead regarded the colorful demon vine as the prey, and it was also the prey she was very interested in. Is this an illusion? Most importantly, what did they see? The colorful parrot that they have always regarded as a pet is actually an Iceluan mythical beast exuding the breath of the late Ninth Order, which is really shocking. What? Because one of the main vines of the 5-color demon vine slapped Huoluan on the ground, it also stayed in the formation to control other vines and wanted to devour everyone here as food. Who knew that the ice halberd would also burn its main vines when it spit out a sip of the demon fire of its own destiny? You stinky bird, I'm going to tear you into pieces. The multicolored demon vines have dominated this area for many years. Every season when the dragons and vines multiply, they will put their main bodies on the only way to the depths, waiting for the human swordsmen who are going to eat them, while their main bodies are sleeping and practicing. This was the first time he was injured and provoked. It is also a Ninth Order monster, and the monster plant is stronger than the monster, so he didn't take the ice halberd that has restrained his breath in his eyes at all. In Lum Weian's sea of knowledge, Meow Meow couldn't help but burst out laughing. Bingji, you are actually despised by a Ninth Order grass, so shameful. Yeah. He even said that he would smash your corpse into 10,000 pieces. Blood and blood were restless. If the owner didn't want to expose its existence for the time being, he wanted to clean up the arrogant demon vine. The Red Emperor gently inserted the knife and said, Bingji, if you are eaten by him, we will not save you. Mo Yan and Lei Huang didn't speak, but there was a bit of a smile in their eyes. The corners of Bingji's mouth twitched wildly. These three little things really deserve to be beaten. You, this little grass, also want to smash this uncle into 10,000 pieces, Bingji sneered. Look, I won't pull out all your roots today. He disappeared in front of everyone with a single step, and then a handsome and elegant man appeared in front of the body of the multicolored demon vine not far away. He grabbed the body of the multicolored demon vine and tore it with force, and there was a layer of faint blue fire on his hand. Ah, the 5-color demon vine was burned and shouted. The 5-colored demon vine is a demon plant with 5 attributes of demon power. The vines only have 5 colors. Each time they advance, the attributes will be derived. When they are below the 10th level, they will only change twice, so they are very afraid of fire. After the 10th rank, the fire attribute will be derived, and from then on, it can devour the primordial flame of the human swordsman, and only the spirit fire can restrain it. And when the 5-colored demon vine breaks through the holy rank, it can also devour the spirit fire, and the things that can restrain him will have no effect. It can only be defeated or killed with super strength, which is very difficult to deal with. This 5-colored demon vine is only 9th order, so it only derives soil and wood attributes, which is only a tasteless attack on ice halberd. Don't burn it, I beg for mercy. He hurriedly begged for mercy when all the vines of the 5-colored demon vines were burned and uprooted by the ice halberd. Bingji wrinkled in disgust, turned to look at Lumwian and asked, "Master, this grass is impure, do you want to take it away?" He didn't like this grass anyway. Just kill it. Lumwian also looked down on this colorful demon vine. This multicolored demon vine is a very vicious kind of demon plant. It deliberately buried its body in the only way for human swordsmen to go to the depths of the forest. She was very disgusted and disliked. Although the blood and blood were also promoted to the 10th order by sucking blood essence, but she never sucked innocent people indiscriminately, which is absolutely not allowed by her. The person who died in the bloody mouth was either her enemy or a vicious person who did evil, such as the Mozu, so she could feel at ease. But those who died in the mouth of this colorful demon vine were all mercenaries who had no grievances with her, and among them were some brave and upright people, and she couldn't take them as spiritual pets. What's more, so many members of the Crazy Wolf mercenary group died in the mouth of the multicolored demon vines. If she took him as a spiritual pet, she would be very embarrassed. No, before the 5-colored demon vine was finished, the ice halberd directly cut off the special life breath part like a human heart. Its voice stopped abruptly, and the breath also dissipated in this space. Lumwian waved her hand, and a huge ball-like rhizome on the ground was brought into the bell space by her. There are thousands of colorful spiritual fruits hanging on the rhizomes, exuding a sweet fragrance. "Master, the crystal core of the multicolored demon vine is useful to me." The voice of blood suddenly sounded in Lumwian's sea of consciousness. When he felt the breath of the colorful crystal nucleus, Shue felt that the blood in his body was shaking. This was the smell that could make him mutate and advance to the level of the demon plant blood. Lumwian's eyes showed a bit of a smile. "Go into the bell space to absorb and refine yourself." She asked the ice halberd to kill the multicolored demon vine and guessed that its crystal nucleus should be useful to blood. "By the way, you dug out the seed in the center of its rhizome and planted it in the medicine field," she added. "The multicolored demon vine is a good thing. After each death, a seed will be born in the sac of the rhizome, and she can recultivate a new one to contract wine for alchemy." "Good host." The bloody tone was extremely excited, and it turned into a tiny golden light from Lumwian's wrist and got into the bell of her ankle when others were not paying attention. Lumwian glanced at the dozen or so people who were looking at her in shock, and asked with a small smile, "I have received the multicolored demon vine, do you have any opinion?" Hearing her words, everyone immediately returned to their senses, and Bouletin Jean said with a smile, "This time our lives were saved thanks to Mu Yan, and you killed the multicolored demon vine, so it's yours of course. The corpse of the colorful demon vine is tempting, but it shouldn't be theirs, and they won't care about it, not to mention Lumwian saved their lives. The 4 survivors of the Crazy Wolf mercenary group have no objection." Zhang Kuang's rough face showed a smile and said gratefully, "Our lives were saved by the young lady, and only you are qualified to take the colorful demon vines." "Just if you have no opinion," Lumwian nodded, "I will compensate you for other things. The multicolored spirit fruit of the multicolored demon vine is more useful in her hands, and most of the members of the Hurricane mercenary group should be sold. Since she joined the Gale Wind mercenary group on a mission, the spoils would not be swallowed alone. Although she would not give them colorful spiritual fruits, it would not make them suffer." No, the Hurricane mercenary corps hurriedly said, "This should have belonged to you. We still owe you a life. How can we ask you to make up for it?" Lumwian smiled and didn't speak. It was useless to talk more. When she brewed spirit wine with 5-colored spirit fruit, she would give them a pot each. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil Imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 616. Bouletin Jean and Zhang Kuang had a good relationship. Seeing that he had several blood holes all over his body, and the other 3 were also seriously injured. He sighed in his heart. Who would have thought that the multicolored demon vine would be so cunning and vicious that it would lurk in ambush on the only way to enter the depths of the forest? Mu Yan, can I trouble you to look at Zhang Kuang's injuries? He looked around. Although the female pharmacist of the Crazy Wolf mercenary group was not dead, she was seriously injured and her clothes were soaked with blood, so he looked at Lu Muan with a pleading look on her face. Lu Muan nodded, okay. She squatted down to take the pulse of the woman whose breath was getting weaker and weaker, and immediately took out a bag of white medicine powder and sprinkled it on her wound. The bleeding stopped instantly, and then she took out a qi-nourishing pill to feed. She takes it? Seeing her frown slightly, Zhang Kuang asked eagerly, Miss Muan, how is she? She suffered serious internal injuries. Lu Muan cast a soothing look at Zhang Kuang, although it's a little troublesome, but I can cure her, don't worry. Immediately, she took out 3 packets of medicinal powder and 3 medicinal pills and handed them to Zhang Kuang. You first apply medicinal powder to stop the bleeding, and after taking 1 medicinal pill to recover, I will heal her first. Okay, thank you Miss Muan. Zhang Kuang took the medicine powder and medicinal pill gratefully. Now is not the time to be hypocritical. Lu Muan took out the gold needle and pierced the woman a few times, and a faint green glow lingered on each gold needle. After a while, the woman's pale face regained a trace of blood, and she gradually woke up from the coma. As soon as she opened her eyes, she met a stunningly beautiful face, stunned, and when she smelled the faint medicinal fragrance on the other side, she slowly said, "Thank you for saving me." "You're welcome. Don't run your Yuan first, and wait for an hour to wait until all the medicinal effects in the Danshan have evaporated," Lu Muan instructed. "It is good." After rescuing the woman from the gate of hell, Lu Muan pierced the 3 Zhang Kuang with gold needles. They took her medicine pill and the gold needle therapy, and it took only an hour for most of the injuries to recover. The members of the Hurricane Mercenary Corps have taken numerous risks, and they are familiar with such injuries. If they were replaced by the pharmacist who had quit before, it would take at least half a month for them to gradually recover. But I never imagined that Zhang Kuang would recover in such a short time, in just an hour. They had a deeper understanding of Lu Muan's medical skills, which was followed by another shock. They guessed in their hearts that she might be more than a 4th-grade pharmacist. At this time, the members of the Gale Mercenary Corps were extremely fortunate that they met Lu Muan when the Mercenary Union issued a task to recruit pharmacists that day. And now, both the members of the Gale Wind Mercenary Group and the Crazy Wolf Mercenary Group feel that Lu Muan is giving them an increasingly mysterious feeling. They guessed that she might be a young lady from a big family, otherwise, how could she have contracted an Ice Luan mythical beast spirit pet higher than her, possessing such an out-of-this-world noble temperament? But they didn't really care about her identity, they all remembered that they owed her a life. When the 4 members of the Crazy Wolf Mercenary Group recovered almost, Bouladin Jean asked them, "Do you have any plans?" The faces of the 4 showed sorrow. Zhang Kuang sighed and said, "Our Crazy Wolf Mercenary Group has capsized in the gutter this time. We should either disband or find a mercenary group to join together." They feel very sad about the dead teammates. After all, the partners who have lived and died for so long have not even left the complete corpse capital, which is also a blow to them. A team of 4 can no longer become a mercenary group, it can only be regarded as a mercenary team. They have deep feelings for the profession of mercenary. Although they hang their heads on the belt of their pants every day, they will continue to be mercenaries whether they are surviving or liking it. As the head of the Hurricane Mercenary Group, I invite the 4 of you to join our Hurricane Mercenary Group. Bouladin Jean sincerely invited the 4 of them with his hands on his heart. Zhang Kuang and the other 3 team members were stunned. Without any hesitation, "We are willing to join the Hurricane Mercenary Group." Their 2 mercenary groups have cooperated more than 10 times, and they are very familiar with each other. It is better to join Hurricane than to join other unfamiliar mercenary groups. Zhang Kuang, From now on you will be the deputy head of my stormtrooper mercenary group. From now on, we will be brothers who share life and death. Bouletin Jean stretched out his hand and patted Jean Kuang's shoulder. Jean Kuang did not refuse, he knew that this was the kindness of Bouletin Jean, and he was indeed qualified for this position. Okay, brother. They all welcomed the four of them who joined the Hurricane Mercenary Corps. In fact, they wanted to invite Lum Weian to officially join the Mercenary Corps, but they suppressed this urge because they guessed that she might have a good status. Our injuries have recovered a lot, let's move on. Jean Kuang stood up and said. It is good. It is not a wise choice to stay in the core area of Qingyuan Forest, and there have been bloody fierce battles here. After the two mercenary groups buried the bones of the dead, they headed for the depths together. Along the way, the Ice Halberd released the breath of the Ninth Order late-stage monster to deter the monsters lurking around, but it also calmed down to an. 3 days later, they came to a deep winding canyon. After this canyon is the core of Qingyuan Forest, everyone is careful. Bouletin Jean reminded everyone. It is good. After stepping into the canyon, they found that the grass on the ground had been trampled on, indicating that someone had entered the depths first, and there were still a lot of people. I don't know if those people are going for the dragon-beard beast, Bouletin Jean said thoughtfully. Jean Kuang's face also showed a bit of solemnity. The resources of Qingyuan Forest are extremely rich. Many people who enter the depths at this time should be for the dragon's whisker grass and several other spiritual grasses. We are vigilant. Not all mercenary groups are harmonious, and it is common for many mercenary groups to fight for quest items or resources to accumulate grudges. So in such a dangerous place, they not only have to guard against the monsters and plants that raid, but also guard against other swordsmen. Lum Weian lightly swept the messy footprints that had been trampled on the ground, and there was still a trace of breath on them. You can see it too. Mo Yan lay on Lum Weian's shoulder, and there were not many waves in his indifferent eyes. Well, among the people who entered the Qingyuan Forest in front of them, there are strong people in the Danyuan realm, and there should be no less than 10 sword gods, Lum Weian said cautiously. There are 2 sword masters in the early stage of Danyuan, 13 sword gods, and more than 20 sword saints. Mo Yan paused and said, they are 2 groups. Is this kind of strength also for the dragon beard grass? Lum Weian frowned slightly. She always felt that the purpose of the 2 powerful teams should not be simple. Mo Yan pondered and said, no, they must have other purposes. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world. BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 617. Lum Weian looked into the distance deeply, and found that not only the 2 groups of people who had entered before were powerful, but also a few more powerful breaths hidden in the depths of the forest. Through this period of practice, her cultivation has recovered to the peak of Sword God, and the green sea of fog in her dantian is even more majestic. The cultivation level that breaks through to the Danyuan realm in the Guangling realm will only trigger the Thunder Tribulation, so as long as she suppresses the aura of promotion from Sword Sovereign to Sword God, others will not be able to find it. The spiritual energy in the Guangling realm is very abundant, and the depths of the Qingyuan forest are much richer. As long as she is willing, she can advance to the Danyuan realm at any time. It's just that she has always liked to pursue the ultimate, and since she was blessed with another opportunity to recondensate Yuan Dan, she will not let it go. What's more, she also got a pill recipe from Jun Luokan that can help improve Yuan Dan into the best quality. The group did not hesitate too much, and the mercenaries have always had an adventurous spirit, so even if there were traces of many people ahead, it was impossible for them to give up this mission. Passing through the canyon, in front of you is a forest that is very open at intervals. The surrounding flowers and trees have different attributes and colors, such as red, green, yellow, blue, black, etc., giving people a strange feeling. Have you been here before? Lum Weian asked, seeing both Bouletin Jean and Jean Kuang looking surprised. Bouletin Jean shrugged and said, Dragon mustard grass is the breeding season every 10 years in the summer. My cultivation base 10 years ago cannot enter here. It would not be so rare and expensive if the dragon's whiskers were proliferated every summer. The reason why I know the approximate location is because I bought a map where dragon beards are infested. Zhang Kuang shook his head helplessly and said, so I'm not familiar with this place. Neither of them knew each other, let alone anyone else. Show me the map you bought, Lum Weian said. Zhang Kuang took out a jade slip and gave it to Lum Weian. I think some parts of this map can be overlapped, but many places are very different. After 10 years, there must be a big difference. Buletin Zhang gave him a blank look. I thought you had been here because of the way you recognized the way before. 10 years ago, I was only in my teens, and before I got here, I would have died on the outskirts of Qingyuan Forest, Zhang Kuang replied. Even 10 years later, without Lum Weian's help, they are afraid that they have become corpses one by one. Lum Weian looked at the map carefully. She found that the map should be a mixture of half-truths and half-truths. The person who sold the map might know the approximate location of the dragon-beard beast, but he didn't mention the strange forest in front of her. Where the map ends is exactly where they are standing. Then what should we do? Feng Qi looked at the weird forest and said, are you still going in? Of course I went in. If I came here, it would be in vain if I didn't go in. Buletin Zhan and the others were unwilling to give up. Everyone, be careful of the brightly colored flowers and trees, which are poisonous, so don't get contaminated. Lum Weian took out a bottle of Qingling Dan and distributed one to each of them. This is an antidote, first take it for future trouble. Okay. Thank you, Mu Yan. The group walked cautiously. From time to time, aggressive plants would suddenly appear from all around, but they were all killed by the ice halberd standing on Lum Weian's shoulder. Although there is an ice halberd protecting it, other people don't dare to be careless. It feels that as long as one wrong step is taken, the result will be death. Mo Yan, is there really a dragon-bearded beast here? Lum Weian said, poking Mo Yan's meaty legs. She remembered that the place where the dragon-bearded beast lives should be the hills with a strong earth attribute. It feels very strange here, filled with all kinds of mixed elements. Mo Yan's dull eyes were filled with a helpless smile. I have already found the trace of the dragon-beard beast, but there is still a long way to go. Then do you know what this place is? Lum Weian felt that the knowledgeable Mo Yan should know. This kind of forest is called the forest of poisonous miasma. The growth of plants with different elements around them will disturb the spiritual energy here. As long as you inhale too much spiritual energy, you will be poisoned and die. Mo Yan paused and said, but your Qingling pill can detoxify the poison here, so it's fine. There should be some kind of spiritual being born in such a special area, Lum Weian said with bright eyes. Mo Yan looked at her amusingly and replied, well, there is a fire volcano deep in front of the poisonous miasma forest, and there may be fire fluorite born in it. Fire fluorite and obsidian fluorite actually belong to the same kind of spiritual objects, but the attributes of UN force are different. Fire fluorite contains a lot of fire elements, and it is the best heaven-level spiritual object for refining high-quality fire attribute instruments. It's not supposed to, it's definitely, Lum Weian said firmly. Mo Yan glanced at her and said, there is a force in that volcano that automatically obscures all spiritual explorations. If it's too far away, I won't be able to find the fire fluorite temporarily. How can you be so sure? Because of those two people, Lum Weian said with a wide-eyed smile. Why would you use so many experts if you didn't find the heavenly spirits? Although there are many sword masters in the Danyuan realm, in the Guangling realm, they can be regarded as strong, and they can definitely be the king and hegemon in a small remote country or region. According to the map Len Yi gave her, the vastness of the Guangling world is not much less than the spiritual world where she lived in her previous life, and there are naturally no shortage of secret realms and various places rich in high-level resources. Although a place like Qingyuan Forest is a resource paradise for mercenaries, The highest level of monsters in it is almost the Danyuan realm, which is still much worse than many mysterious and unpredictable places. Therefore, the powerhouses who can send out the Danyuanjing realm are definitely not small, and the dragon mustard grass must not have such a big temptation, it must be the fire fluorite. She guessed that maybe these two forces were just the first to arrive, and maybe someone else would come here later. You're right in your analysis. The two groups of people are indeed heading in the direction of the active volcano, Mo Yan said. We're really lucky, Lum Wen chuckled lightly. My fire energy is the most comprehensible among the 8 energy attributes, but I'm missing a handy natal magic weapon, this time it's a big one. Chance. Mo Yan smiled in a low voice. He found that this woman's eyes brightened as soon as she mentioned the baby. Why don't you find the dragon's beard grass and refine the medicine pill first, and then go to the Danyuan realm before going there? Lum Wen rolled his eyes at him angrily. When I hit the Danyuan realm, the daylily will be cold. It doesn't take much time to impact the realm, but the time it takes to condense the top grade Yuan Dan is immeasurable. By the way, you disappeared for a few days before, have you advanced to the holy rank? Lum Wen jokingly looked at Mo Yan and continued, aren't you afraid that after you've advanced to the holy rank, we strongly require you to transform into a human figure, so you're hiding it? After Mo Yan disappeared for a few days, she found that his breath was not right. Although he restrained himself, as his own contracted beast, the mellow demon power in his body could not be concealed from her. Of course, Mo Yan wouldn't deliberately hide it from her. Mo Yan's body froze, and he snorted coldly, guess. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 618. Lum Wen and a few spirit pets were actually very curious about what Mo Yan would look like when he transformed into a human form, but unfortunately this fellow never wanted to transform into a human form. I guess you're shy. She reached out and poked Mo Yan's leg, teasing, Mo Yan, you're getting fat again. This fellow's mouth is actually the most dangling among the several spiritual pets. Now, except for the 7th grade medicinal herbs, others are disrespectful. Mo Yan's face darkened. Do you still want firefly stone? Do you still want to look for dragon beard grass? Looking at the arrogant Mo Yan, Lum Yu's cigarette lips raised a larger arc, and he joked with the dog's leg, okay, Mo Yan, you have lost weight, I am so distressed, I will practice it when I find the dragon's whisker grass. I will make Shiquan Dabu Dan to make up for you. Hearing her dog-legged words, Mo Yan's face turned even darker, and he gritted his teeth and said, I'm fine, I don't need that thing. Master, Shiquan Dabu Dan Mo boss doesn't want it, I want it. Bingji's voice sounded cheerfully. Mo boss Mo is in the midst of blessings and does not know the blessings. Immediately, he received an intimidating cold light from Mo Yan, shuddered and smiled and said, haha, the main reason is that boss Mo is too strong, and he doesn't need a complete tonic pill. Meow Meow saw that Bingji was slapped with a cold light, and changed it to flattery. She rolled her eyes and said, little flatterer, boss Mo is already very strong, and you have to say that. Bingji glared at Meow Meow, you're not a little sycophant yet. Because of the contract with Lum Wen, Lei Huan could hear the bickering conversations of several spirit pets in the sea of consciousness space. I don't know why, although he heard the chatter, his heart felt a lot calmer and warmer. Lum Wen and a few spirit pets were half ignoring him, and he had nowhere to go after soaring to the Guangling realm, so he decided to follow this woman first. At least there was no shortage of 7th grade medicinal pills. Boss Mo is the most powerful. Besides the master, I like Boss Mo the most. Chi Wang's soft voice sounded, because it was too soft to make people feel the suspicion of flattering. Me too, Shue Shue also said. Bingji's mouth twitched. This group of little things was too much, they even robbed him of flattery, and even let the beast live. Mo Yan's dull eyes were filled with a thick smile. Now this kind of life is much warmer and happy than when he was a demon king back then. His cold heart was also covered by Lum Wan and a few spirit pets. Hot. The group walked out of the strange poisonous miasma forest under the guidance of Lum Wan, and quickly climbed over a large mountain to find the hill where dragon beards are haunted. Wan, you are amazing. Feng Qi looked at Lum Wan with admiration and said with a smile, there is no location for dragon beards on the map, you actually know that their living place is here. Dragon beard beast likes to move on hills with deep earth elements. I found that the atmosphere of earth elements is the strongest in this area, so I brought you here with the idea of giving it a try, Lum Wan said with a light smile. She did feel that the atmosphere of the earth element was the strongest here, but the biggest credit was Mo Yan's guidance. Hearing her words, the people present became more and more sure of her mysteriousness. The earth element breath in this area could be found from such a long distance. How strong is the understanding of earth element? As soon as they entered the hill, they found a lot of pure yellow monsters that looked like hedgehogs scurrying around. Everyone, be careful, dragon beasts are very cunning. After Bulletin Jean finished, he took out a few specially customized nets from the space ring. After the dragon beasts are let out, you can cover them with this kind of net, and they will escape. No more. The dragon-bearded beast is not only delicious in meat quality, but also able to temper its body and improve its cultivation. Even though the dragon-bearded beast is as harmless as a small hedgehog, it is actually very ferocious, and the fangs in its mouth are also highly poisonous, so the reward of the task is so high. The Huoluan standing on Bulletin Jean's shoulder turned into a cute-looking girl, and quietly and silently touched the hill where the dragon-beard beast was, and the breath of the Eighth Order converged. Seeing Bulletin Jean's Huoluan's transformation, Lum Wan said amusedly, in the sea of knowledge, I just said why Bingji is not interested in Huoluan, it turns out that it has always been a cub. Bingji rolled his eyes and said, Master, I am not a pedophile. He murmured in his heart, it's your second brother who is a pedophile, but if you hold Meow Meow in your hand, you're afraid it will fly, and if you put it in your mouth, you're afraid it will melt. Go and help catch the dragon beard beast. Shue Shue and Mo Yan go to find the dragon beard grass, Lum Wan instructed. Although dragon beard grass is the companion grass of dragon beard beast, it can only be found in the dragon beard beast's nest of the 8th and 9th tiers. The dragon beast's nests are all underground caves, so it is more suitable for Mo Yan and Shue Shue to find them. Bingji stretched out his feathers and pouted, okay. Why is he always the coolie? Okay, when the time comes, I will give you a few of the medicinal pills I made with the dragon's beard grass as a reward, Lum Wan said with a funny look at the listless Bingji. Hearing Lum Wan's words, the ice halberd seemed to be hit with chicken blood, and immediately the bird's body shook, and the restrained breath went in the other direction of Huoluan Xiaotong. Master, I promise to complete the task. Lum Wan shook his head with a smile. Meow Meow and Chawang immediately came over. Master, we can also help. When it comes to medicinal pill rewards, several spirit pets are not calm. Okay, you all go help. Lei Huang remembered the taste of the 7th grade medicinal pill, and said leisurely, I will help too, but I will also give me a copy of the medicinal pill as a reward. Okay, Lum Wan twitched the corners of his mouth. A pervert like Lei Huang could go out and do such a task for a pill. It seemed that the temptation of the 7th grade pill was still great. With the help of the ice halberd, the two mercenary groups saved a lot of effort in grabbing the dragon beard beast. After all, as soon as his coercion was released, many 7th order dragon beard beasts trembled in place. However, he also knows how to stop. The speed control is not fast, and what he does is very secretive, so that the two mercenary groups have something to do, and it took a lot of effort to catch Dao. The special animal trap bought by Bulletin Jean is also very useful. Let's catch more. They caught more than 20 dragon-bearded beasts in only half a day, and they actively suggested that they would come out from time to time in the distance. Now is the breeding season for dragon beasts, and the mercenary union will continue to have employers to issue such arrest tasks, and they will not have to come to Qingyuan Forest again. Okay. A day later, they caught hundreds of dragon-bearded beasts of the 7th and 8th orders on the surrounding hills. When they were content to leave, a team of more than 20 people suddenly appeared and blocked their way. I didn't expect that your mercenary group is not very strong, but the speed of catching the dragon beast is so fast. A young man in the lead stood up and said with a smile, but it's all in vain. Field. What do you mean? BlackBelly asked with a frown. Haha, brothers, he actually asked me what I meant, the leader sneered. The rest of the team laughed and laughed. Of course it means robbery. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 619. The entire group of the Hurricane Mercenary group had guesses in their hearts, but their expressions changed when they heard the other party directly say that they were going to rob. After carefully observing the other party's cultivation, his face became more and more ugly. This is a 5-level mercenary group, including 2 sword gods, 5 sword saints, and the rest are sword masters, whose strength is several times their strength. Both the Hurricane Mercenary group and the previous Crazy Wolf Mercenary group were newly upgraded to level 4 mercenary groups. It was regarded as the early stage of level 4. Compared with the old level 4 mercenary group, the strength was much different, let alone the one in front of them. A 5th level mercenary group. Everyone, are you doing something against morality? Zhang Kuang's temperament is relatively straightforward, he asked slightly respectfully. The young man in the lead sneered, what is morality? Can you eat it? A sword god beside him smiled meaningfully and said, I wonder if you have heard of the Blood Evil Mercenary Group. What? The members of the Hurricane Mercenary Group turned pale instantly when they heard the name. Lum Wen frowned slightly and asked Feng Qian, who was standing beside him, is the Blood Demon Mercenary Group famous? Feng Qi's face was pale, and he was surprised that Lum Wen had never heard of the name of the Blood Evil Mercenary Group, and explained by voice transmission, the Blood Evil Mercenary Group is an old-fashioned 5th-level mercenary group, and their notoriety has long been known throughout the whole world. The Northlands spread. I heard that they are a mercenary group composed of many robbers. After receiving the task, they all directly grab the task items from the hands of other low-level mercenary groups, or specialize in robbery. Feng Qi clenched his hands tightly and continued, the most important thing is that after the robbery, they will kill the men who were robbed by the mercenary group, and bring the women back to the slave market in the black market. Hearing Feng Qi's words, Lum Wen's eyes became cold, and the fate of women sold to the slave market should be very tragic. Before Lum Wen responded to Feng Qi, the sword god on the opposite side swept the eyes of the 4 women in the group, and said to the leader, Master, this time the goods are really good. There are 4 women in the mercenary group of the Blessed. Lum Wen is stunning and charming, and has a dusty temperament. Feng Wu has a wild beauty, Feng Qi is pretty and cute. The gentle and beautiful pharmacists are indeed different, and they are very eye-catching. When the leader swept his gaze to Lum Wen, he couldn't keep his eyes closed. He licked his dry lips and said, this time the goods are really good. The woman in red belongs to me. Hearing his words, the expressions of the others changed greatly. BlackBelly took a deep breath and stood in front of Lum Wen and said, my name is BlackBelly, and my brother is the deputy head of the 7th level Mokang Mercenary Corps. Xian, can you give him a face? Haha. Another sword god of the Blood Evil Mercenary Group said disdainfully, a deputy head of a 7th level mercenary group is nothing, my young master's father can be trampled to death with 1 foot. BlackBelly's face was extremely ugly. Listening to the other party's tone, He also found that the young man in the lead looked about 20 years old, and his cultivation was only a high-level sword master, but he was able to become the head of the regiment, which showed that his background was definitely extraordinary. But even if the other party has an extraordinary background and is vicious by nature, they can't sit back and ignore it, even if they die with dignity. Mu Yan, Feng Wu, Feng Qi, ASI, we will hold each other for a while, and you will flee towards the depths of Qingyuan forest. Bouletin Zhan's voice sounded in the sea of consciousness of several people, and the others consciously stood in front of the four of them. The blood demon mercenary group looked at them sarcastically, one of the sword gods snorted coldly, and a coercion blocked all the roads in front, back, left and right. You are all in danger of protecting yourselves and still want to be a hero to save the beauty, the leading young master sneered disdainfully, being yourself too big. Seeing the faces of all the members of the hurricane mercenary group change their faces, the young master felt extremely relieved, and he liked to see people struggling in despair. The man will be killed, and the woman will take it away. There were dangers here, and he didn't want to delay any longer, so he ordered. The person behind him smiled cruelly, and a swordsman stepped out and said, "Let me handle this group of low-level goods alone." Everyone in the hurricane mercenary group was in danger, but they all continued to stand in front of the four women. Lum Wen chuckled lightly, stepped forward from behind the group, and smiled at the young master, "Very beautiful, you want me." The leading young master's eyes are straight, even if he has seen a lot of top beauties, but in front of the beauties in red on the opposite side is nothing. Beauty, as long as you follow the Lord and serve him well, the Lord promises to let you eat and drink spicy food. Lum Wen raised her eyebrows with infinite style, "Okay. I don't know if you have that ability." Haha. The leading young master laughed and said to the people behind him, "The little beauty actually questioned the ability of this young master. You should tell her master's ability. Our young master can control the 9 girls at one time, you can definitely rest assured about this little beauty." A sword saint behind the leading young master smiled slyly. As soon as his words came out, the faces of the hurricane mercenary group were not only pale, but also very ugly. The eyes of the spirit pets who have returned from the search for Long Suko are full of killing intent, and even Mo Yan's indifferent eyes are replaced by icy coldness. "Don't move, I haven't moved my bones for a long time." Lum Wen stopped the pets in time when they wanted to move. Several spiritual pets stopped and looked at the group of people opposite each other with schadenfreude. These sluts are going to be beaten to death. In terms of exposure, their masters are definitely better than them. Lum Wen smiled at the young master and said, "Then let's try it now." The young master felt that his bones were brittle. "Since the beauty has invited me with kindness, then I'm welcome." "Aren't you afraid that I will kill you?" Lum Wen asked with a low smile. Haha. The young master who led the team laughed and replied, "Peony flowers die, and it is romantic to be a ghost. Even if you really kill me, I will admit it." The others also burst into laughter. It was the first time they had met such a stunning and unrestrained woman. If it wasn't for the beauty being spotted by the boss, they would all want to grab it and take it back to hide and enjoy it. "Okay. Then you will take your life." Miss Lum Wen smiled evilly, and disappeared in a flash. Boom. Then everyone heard the sound of a heavy object falling to the ground, and saw the body of the leader of the team flew up in an arc in mid-air, and smashed heavily on a big tree not far away. Ah! A shrill scream resounded throughout the hill. Before anyone else could react, an astonishing scene appeared. I saw the head of the blood evil mercenary group being beaten by the beauty with his fists and stepping on it from time to time. The fierce appearance didn't make people feel rude at all, but it also had a wild beauty. However, if it was someone else who was beaten by the bloody mercenary group, they would stand to appreciate it, but if the person who was beaten was their leader, the young master immediately panicked. So they swarmed up, trying to rescue people from Lum Wen's feet. "My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly Evil Wife is Too Arrogant Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 620. Seeing that all the members of the Blood Evil mercenary group rushed towards Lum Wan, the members of the Hurricane mercenary group rushed up to help regardless of their strength. One of the sword gods turned his head and snorted coldly, waved his sleeves at will, and the soil thorns condensed by the soil elements flew towards the group of people who came forward. More than a dozen people were restrained by a coercion, unable to move, and when the soil thorn approached, they felt powerless despair in their hearts. This is a sword god powerhouse that is several levels higher than them, and it is true that people can kill them with a wave of their sleeves. When several people were preparing to meet the deadly soil thorn, a blue ice shield was suddenly erected in front of several people to block all the soil thorns. Then Lum Woman's wrist jumped into a small white snake into a delicate and cute girl, and directly waved the sword god out of the sword god. Then he tapped his toes and continued beating. Seeing this, the other sword masters of the Blood Evil mercenary group took out their magic weapons and attacked Lum Wan and Meow Meow. Lum Wan turned around and smiled sarcastically, stretched out a hand at will, and the sword chi that was in front of her was gently squeezed and dissipated in place. She stepped on the crotch of the leading young master, and then everyone heard a scream of pain. "I don't think you are suitable to be the head of the Blood Evil mercenary group, you are more suitable to be a eunuch." Lum Wan glanced coldly at the person who was hugging his lower body and screaming. "My God! She is the sword god." At this time, the people of the Blood Evil mercenary group also discovered that this stunning red-clothed woman was not a sword sect cultivation base at all, and the breath exuded was the real peak of the sword god. It's just that before they could make any move, a series of fierce fists suddenly hit. Immediately, everyone present became dumbfounded. I saw more than 20 members of the Blood Evil mercenary group being beaten by a constantly shuttled red shadow and crying, and they didn't even have the chance to use magic weapons. Such a scene can be described as the most primitive violent confrontation, but the abuse was carried out unilaterally. Then, that person is that Mu Yan, Feng Qi said with a big mouth and hesitant to believe it. The other members of the Storm mercenary group were also completely stunned. What's going on? Is this still Lum Wan, who is usually easygoing and gentle? This is obviously a female Tyrannosaurus. But why she beat people with such an elegant posture is simply a charm. Aside from the screams of the person being beaten and the appearance of a bruised face, her smooth beating movements seem to give people a pleasing feeling. It should be Bouletin Jean swallowed and said. He never imagined that the bloody mercenary group that had been arrogant and rampant in the Northland for a long time would be beaten horribly by a woman, which made people feel good. After half an hour, Lum Wan felt refreshed physically and mentally, and it seemed that proper venting would be conducive to a happy mood. She took out a handkerchief and wiped it, and then the handkerchief disappeared into ashes. She walked to the front of the group of Hurricane mercenaries like a stroll in the courtyard, and asked with a smile, "Are you all right?" Such a gentle appearance is completely different from the woman who beat up just now. If it wasn't for seeing it, they wouldn't believe that the scene of screaming and holding her stomach at this moment was her masterpiece. "No, it's fine." Bouletin Jean smiled shyly. "Wan, you're amazing." Feng Qi looked at Lum Wan with admiration and said, "You actually beat the notorious Blood Evil mercenary group to death." "I haven't been active for a long time, use them to move my muscles and bones." Lum Wan shrugged. Others twitched their lips when they heard her words. It turns out that this is just a move, she seems to have other means to make these people survive and die. "Mu Yan, what are you going to do with them?" Bouletin Jean asked cautiously after regaining his senses. Judging from the conversation just now, the young master, the head of the Blood Evil mercenary group, must have a strong background, otherwise he would not ignore his big brother. Moreover, they have always wondered why only the 5th level Blood Evil mercenary group can run amok in the north, doing all the evil behind their backs, but no high-level swordsman will clean them up. It is estimated that they are afraid of the forces behind them. Now it's really a dilemma. If you kill people, you will be retaliation by the forces behind them, but if you don't kill them, these people will definitely not let it go. If he read it right, that young master, the head of the regiment, was turned into a eunuch by Lum Wan. Such a group of garbage is naturally cut down, Lum Wan said casually. Lum Wan also knew what Bulletin Jean was worried about, but she was never a person who liked to be intimidated, and the risk of revenge for letting people out was even greater. Moreover, if this group of mercenaries who do evil things are released, they will continue to harm one side. Although she is not a good person, she is not used to seeing such evil forces harming people everywhere. But what if the people behind them retaliate? Bulletin Jean looked at Lum Wan worriedly. Although she is a strong swordsman and may have a background, she may not be able to match the backstage of that young master. It doesn't matter, Lum Wan said indifferently, I don't care about multiple enemies. You must know that she has deeply offended a saint child and 2 saintess of the demon race. Can the power behind this young master be stronger than the saint child and saintess of the demon race? She has offended even more powerful beings, so how can she worry about this revenge? Bingji, let's deal with it. Lum Wan casually swept the person on the ground and said to Bingji. No, no, one of the sword gods heard the conversation between Lum Wan and Bulletin Jean, and immediately begged for mercy. Miss, little ancestor, we promise not to do bad things in the future. Do you think the words of your group of immoral robbers are credible? Lum Wan sneered, and you deserve to be damned. Bingji has long been motivated to kill. Before these scumbags dared to say that, his master should have been slashed with 1,000 swords. He walked in front of several people, and a cluster of ice-blue flames appeared on his fingertips. Do you know who our young master is? Another sword god roared immediately. Lum Wan turned her eyes and asked, who is your young master? It's also good to first grasp the forces that will definitely make enemies in the future. My young master is the son of the deputy head of the 8th level Mad Lion mercenary group. If you dare to kill us, the head of the group will definitely kill you, the man threatened fiercely. Turning my son into such a scum, I'm definitely not something. Lum Wan raised her eyebrows and continued, what's more, I turned his son into a eunuch. You think I just don't kill you? Will you let me go? Do you think I'm a fool? After listening to her words, the people of the Blood Evil mercenary group thought that they would definitely not let you go, but they said, as long as the lady lets us go today, we promise not to trouble you in the future, let alone not revenge. The subtext in their hearts is that we do not dare to trouble you, but the Mad Lion mercenary group will definitely cut you into pieces.